Ask any real car guy what's the most performance you can buy for a given amount of money, and the answer will almost always be this. Well, not specifically this, but this. That's right, a Chevrolet Corvette. Yes, for less than the price of the cheapest new cars money can buy, you can have this, a 2008 Corvette with just over 100,000 miles. And while it might not be as perfect as a new car, it certainly does give you a lot of bang for your buck. But what does about $20,000 get you in terms of performance? Well, with its 6.2-liter, 430 horsepower V8 and 6-speed manual transmission, it will take you from 0 to 60 in just 4 seconds. And with enough real estate, onto an eye-watering 190 miles per hour.
You're safer here than any place else. Now just lock yourself in and keep quiet.
Yeah, skip state prison. We're going all the way to federal. Name something, name anything that can do that for less than $20,000. And if that wasn't realistic or even impressive, this same car can return nearly 30 miles per gallon on the highway. And well, we don't talk about city mileage because you wouldn't be able to keep your foot out of it either. This car is seriously impressive, and not just for the price, but for the age, the mileage, the technology. That's what makes it impressive. There is no high-tech tomfoolery going on here. There's no all-wheel drive, there's no all-wheel steering, there's no turbos, there's no magnetic ride control. This car is everything that CT6 in the last video isn't. It doesn't have cylinder deactivation, it doesn't have variable valve timing, it doesn't have direct injection, just one camshaft, 8 cylinders, and 16 valves. This is just about as basic of an engine as money can buy, and the last of its kind. There is very little, if nothing, to go wrong, and that has earned the LS3 the reputation of being one of, if not the most reliable and desirable variations of the legendary LS series of engines. Paired behind it is also the excellent TR6060 variation of the T56, making the 2008 Corvette just that bit better than the ones that came before it. Yes, you can have a C6 Corvette for cheaper, but 20 grand is about the minimum you'll pay for a 2008 or newer. Coming in at just over 3,200 pounds, it might be considered a small, lightweight cruise missile, but it really isn't that impractical. There's tons of space in the hatch for golf clubs because GM knows their audience, or a place to put the roof if you want to take it off. The seats still have padding and are comfortable enough. They're heated, but not cooled. Surprisingly enough, the interior as a whole is still in fantastic shape, and a tribute to just how well Corvette owners generally take care of their cars. The navigation radio is aging, but still works. It doesn't have Bluetooth, but remember, this is 16 years old after all. Like the radio, the instruments and heads-up display are relatively basic, but they relay all the information you need. The HVAC is also simple, dual zone, and automatic. You can tell that pre-bankruptcy GM really played it safe with this car. And it's paid off, because even after 100,000 miles, it still runs and drives like brand new. Driving this car is incredibly satisfying. The steering is a bit light, but it's still tight. The shifter is also tight, specifically with every single gear engagement. The clutch pedal could feel better. It does have an over-center spring, which makes it easier to hold down when you're sitting in traffic, but this can lead to some abrupt engagements if you're light-footing it. The suspension is also on the softer side. This car does have Z51, which gives you vented brake rotors, a different gear ratio, and some thicker sway bars, I believe. It still errs on a more civilized side. That doesn't mean it can't handle a corner without awe-inspiring confidence and predictability. This is a very easy car to drive at the limits of grip. But the one thing that I absolutely adore about this car is the removable roof. Being able to turn your car into a convertible is an understated blessing. That, paired with the dual mode exhaust, is driving ecstasy, especially if you pull the fuse and have it running wide open all the time. all be sunshine and daisies. It is still a Corvette after all, and some things are just a characteristic. Like the idle, for example. It is rather rough, and sometimes it does feel like it's misfiring, but it is a really big V8, and there is a lot of mass rotating around in that engine. There's nothing you can really do to fix that, except not idle. Most headlights after a decade will start to yellow and fade. These are no exception. Because the lenses are so large, they can expand and contract many times to create micro cracks throughout the lens, along with yellowing over time. Factory replacement headlights are impractical because the C6 was one of the few, if only, vehicles to come with paint-matched headlights, which is cool and all, but there simply aren't any left. Aftermarket lenses and headlights are the only real option, and both, luckily, are widely available. The transparent roof also has suffered from some stretch marks. It's purely cosmetic, but it does look rather wild. Replacement roofs are north of $800. Some C6s are running around with a transparent roof and body-colored roof. This car only got the transparent one. As far as cosmetics go, the paint on the hood has suffered from some odd fading underneath the clear coat. The rest of the body has taken its fair share of impacts over the years. And then there's the signature Corvette squeaks and rattles. I don't know if it's a lack of insulation or a byproduct of the polymer production, but uneven surfaces and rough roads can lead to some less than favorable noises in the cabin. Not all are an indication of issue, but some lunatics do buy a car specifically to drive around in silence. This is not the car for those people. So crank the radio, or better yet, remove the roof and listen to that awesome exhaust soundtrack and enjoy the drive.